Hey everybody, this is Mike from A to Zen. I am here with Michelle, and we have started doing some events here at A to Zen that has gotten a very warm welcome. And we did the first Soundbath we ever had here last month, and we have another event coming up here on the 18th, which is a Soundbath again.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Soundbath and cacao ceremony.
so, before we get too far ahead of that, what is a Soundbath? And we have some video from the last one, so we'll throw some video to kind of explain this. But
Yeah.
to a layperson, what is
Right.
a sound bath?
So, I kind of, from my own experience with a sound bath, it's an experience. It's just an experience with harmony and vibration. We use a lot of different instruments that we play more intuitively, like the crystal bowls and the gongs. We have a monochord. We have Jeff
Right.
Froschauer, who plays a pan drum beautifully. And so it's really an experience of sound. And the bonus is that sound offers healing. It offers stress reduction. It offers you to be in a meditative state. So
Right.
if you're laying down and you just absorb the whole experience, it's something that's going to take you on a ride from the beginning to the end. And it's a little like laying on a cloud.
And it is. John and I never experienced anything like that, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen similar things, but this event started in that room filled with such a frequency and vibration that it's hard to articulate. And I had no way of knowing until I actually experienced a full blown sound bath like that, because I was kind of like, sound bath? What is that? I don't understand. You're literally being bathed in frequency. And you can feel it. You can feel emotional stuff in your body. Did you notice any of that, John, when we were doing that?
No, the number one thing that I noticed is that the frequencies were throwing me off, and I thought it was feedback.
Leave it to the sound man.
That was the only thing. But other than that, no, it was definitely, it
What
was
is happening?
refreshing.
It's feedback. Oh wait, no, it's
No,
Well,
I
there's such
it
a
was-
wall of, and it's not a wall. How do you even articulate? Because it's not loud. What's going on is not loud. There's definitely a lot of sound, and you're experiencing sound, and you're experiencing vibration and frequency, and you can actually feel it in your physiology. But it's not like rock concert loud either. It's such a subtle, nuanced thing. So just coming as a first-timer participant in that type of thing, that's the only way I know how to describe it. Is that fairly accurate, Michelle?
Yeah, I think so. And then I think with the resonance, what I've heard from a lot of people with that resonance, where you literally do, it's almost like the sound goes in your brain and is like washing, like a wash machine in your
Right.
brain, where it's like, that wah wah thing that happens from left to right. But it's really kind of like the sympathetic system with the parasympathetic system. And so when we think of that, sympathetic is kind of the autonomic thing that happens for us. But it's like getting in a car and putting the gas pedal on and just keeping the gas pedal on, which is kind of the culture that we've been grown up in. Like work hard, make money, buy things, go, 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 hustle. Hustle for your worth, basically, is what we've been taught for a really long time. And this is about shutting that system down for a minute and really just allowing the frequencies and vibrations to go wash that away and allow you to, that's the healing that really happens. So that meditative, relaxing state, reducing that stress of just taking 2 hours for yourself to just spend time allowing the sound to come in and do what it's doing. It's not that we're doing anything in terms of what we're playing, because we're doing it so intuitively, just playing intuitively.
Right.
And that sound is the magic. That's the magical experience, is the sound.
It is too, actually. We were doing the event in January, and we were working the event, so we were kind of doing some camera work and some other stuff. But I found myself suddenly just feeling passive. It was just intuitively happening. It's like, you know what? I just want to absorb this, and it's such a subtle thing. I don't know. I hope I'm articulating myself, but it triggered in me a response that kind of went, and so we're doing it again on February 18th. You were going to couple this with another thing that I'm also unfamiliar with, which is a cacao ceremony.
Yes.
What is that?
So cacao, basically the short answer, and I feel like I'm dishonoring it by saying this, but it's a chocolate. So it is a chocolate. It's from the cacao bean. The difference between ceremonial grade as opposed to something, some superfood. You go to Whole Foods and you buy some cacao that's 99%, powdered chocolate that you can put in your coffee and make some bulletproof coffee in the morning or something along those lines.
Coffee.
Right?
Coffee. I know what that is. I do actually know what that is.
So, it is a superfood. It does have lots of rich nutrients in it. One of the things that it does, so the ceremonial piece, this cacao that I'm bringing to this ceremony is from South America, and it's basically raised and harvested and seeded, and the paste is made all through ceremony. So it's preyed upon from the time that it's seeded, and as it grows, it's made sacred from the time that it's seeded. And so that's what makes it a little bit different. And so you take all those prayers and you drink this small cup of chocolate and you feel those prayers coming in. And so that's some of the amazing part about it, is that there's just this beautiful warm feeling, this warm sensation, less like a shot of whiskey, but much more subtle. And so as you're drinking it, you can kind of feel what it's doing, and it will increase. It has a little bit of caffeine, but nothing that's, too crazy. And so it has the chemicals that are in it are going to enrich your circulatory system, and it's going to really pick up that oxygen and take oxygenated blood to places that, there's places that we normally don't get oxygenated blood. And so there's this bliss sensation that happens as a result of that. And part of the prayers that have been put into the cacao is about heart opening. And so that's what makes it so beautiful, is that you have this beautiful sacred drink that you share with others that are being held in this space, that the intention is to open our hearts to one another, to have some kind of open sharing with one another, to know that it's safe, to feel any sensation that comes up for you at all during the ceremony and during the sound bath, and to just share that space with one another. And so it's a different kind of experience in terms of a group experience.
I'm curious. I'm really curious.
You're always curious.
Well, what I'm curious about, John, is in our modern industrialized culture, we have so much access to things that we take for granted. Myriad of levels, as I've explored meditation, the mere act of breathing that we do every day in the right environment, suddenly you're very appreciative of it, whether you're having CPR performed on you, which I wouldn't recommend, but even in a meditation, this thing you do every day, you have a new appreciation for. And so you're taking chocolate, which is in a different form, but chocolate is a definite state changer, whatever form it's in. It's a powerful agent. Whether you're reaching for it to cure depression because you can't sleep, like I do on a regular basis, where I pound down a half of a Trader Joe's chocolate bar, the big old fat ones, but they definitely change your state. There's an element to cocoa that, as we've pulled away from the spiritual aspects and the appreciation of what we experience in our life and all those other things, and kind of take them for granted because they become so normalized.
Right.
And we've become so attuned to be able to walk into a 7-Eleven and walk out with a piece of chocolate. And it does change your state. It changes your physiology. It changes your outlook. It does many, many things. And so one of the biggest things I'm bringing into my first cacao ceremony is a curiosity. And yes, I'm always curious, but that kind of tears on that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because we may experience cacao or a form of it in a lot of forms. And we do it to nurture ourselves or do it. I mean, chocolate especially. You know, how many people are reaching for chocolate for comfort, for stress relief, for this and that. So I'm curious about the ritual of cacao. Does that make sense at all?
Yes. Yeah. It's perfect. It's perfect. And you know, I think too that it kind of ties into this new way of me looking at life in a different way, and a lot of it ties into the pandemic. I think for a lot of us that there is a change that's going on in the world, and I think people are embracing kind of a awakeness in some way, and it's different for for each individual. But I think that we are coming to a place where we're less about the hustle and more about what am I doing today to contribute to my life. So when you think of this ceremony, the thing that strikes to me, a good friend of mine, he passed away a couple of years ago, is Native American. His name was Orlando. And we used to have these long conversations on the phone. And as I was, evolving into my new life, as opposed to my regular work life, I retired from, and now I'm doing what I'm doing now, which I love doing. I'm sharing with him what we're, the women's circles that I do, and the Soundbaths and the new instruments that we were getting, and just, everything was new and exciting. And I'd share this is what we're doing now, Orlando, and I said, ceremony is so important. Ceremony, ritual and ceremony. I mean, it's part of who we are as a human being. We've been doing it, and we've moved so far away from it. Yeah. And ritual is just now waking up and having a cup of coffee and driving on the same road to a job. That's a ritual. It's a routine. It's a ritual.
Yep.
And, if we were to actually add some ceremonial ritual to our lives every day. And some of us do. We have prayer and we have meditation and we have those things that we incorporate in our lives that are sacred. But he said to me, it was just those pearls that he would have in one sentence. And he says, "Oh, my girl, every day is a ceremony."
Wow.
And so when you really think about that and you put the breath together with that, every day we wake up, it's a whole new day to make this day a ceremony. And so if we bring that back into our lives, that magic back into our lives, I think we could all benefit from that. And that's basically what this night is. It's like incorporating, how can we put some cacao, some gathering, some meditation, and some sound, and make it a beautiful experience, a beautiful ceremony for you, that you can take those little pieces and incorporate a little bit more every day into your life. Like, oh, that was really cool. I'm going to start doing some meditation. Or like you were talking, I'm going to get on YouTube and I'm going to listen to those nighttime sound baths. Or I'm going to, I'm just going to look at the world differently. Or the next time I have some cocoa, I'm going to look at that differently, because I'm going to know that this is a beautiful plant medicine that's put here to heal me and to open my heart space so that I'm more open to love, that humanity, more open to the oneness of us all. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
The ritual, wow. Yeah, I just in our modern, and some of it is changing. I agree with you about the pandemic. They're just, and I think all of us feel it. There's a palatable shift on many, many levels for just, but I'm interested in what could be. I'm got a Starbucks sitting right here. I've been drinking coffee forever, and I've had periods that I haven't mastered. And I'm curious if something is simple. Now I know cacao is different, so I'm not trying to downgrade the ceremony that's going on. But I eat chocolate voraciously. I drink coffee day to day, end to end, and you get up and you put on your Mr. Coffee and do this. I've had periods with this conversation, it's probably going to trigger more back, where you take coffee. It is a day-to-day thing, whether you roll through Starbucks, McDonald's, pull it off to Mr. Coffee and head out the door, spilling half of it on your shirt because you're on your way to work. Or you take coffee and get a pour-over carafe, and you get your favorite mug. You get quiet, and you purposely slow down. Say, okay, I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to slowly bring this up to just shy of a boil. I'm going to pour it by hand through a cone. And I'm going to sit there and watch it. And the times I've done that, it is coffee. It is no different. And I'm not trying to the cacao, but do you understand? Yeah. We consume these medicinal products in our modern life on a regular basis. Caffeine is a drug. No way around it. It is a drug. You know, things in chocolate are a drug. And we disconnect from the appreciation of those substances and what they actually contribute to our life. And they are so much more meaningful when you bring in ritual, ceremony.
Yes.
And,
even when you make a salad,
absolutely.
If you make a salad mindfully and you put all the colors in it, you know, I went and did a healing one time with a Tibetan monk, and one of the things that he told me to do is that every time that I made food, to be mindful in how I was putting the food together, to add the whole rainbow, and then before I ate, to sit down with the plate and blow prayers into the food. And like just those simple little, you know, do I do that all the time? I do not. But when I'm mindful, when I'm trying,
I don't
you know,
ceremonially make coffee every time either,
right.
So I get it. So I mean,
yeah. But when you do, right, that's the best cup of coffee ever, right?
You know, it is. Yeah. It will take a cup of U-Ban. I mean, you know what I'm saying, though. I mean,
yeah,
and add ritual and the aspects of your appreciation for what you're doing and for the moment you're in. And it sounds really cliche because I mean, you know, there's just memes all over social media, and it's just what everybody does and wants an Instagram picture of it. But there is actual meaning and truth to that, to where, you know, you can take coffee and turn it into an actual, and I actually believe that the molecules in that food respond to that type of activity, with it. Like we were talking about blowing on, I'd never heard that before, you know, blowing on a salad or something like that. It's like, but what a simple thing.
yes,
You know, and how much more does it contribute to our lives to take a minute, slow the heck down, and appreciate what we're given, what we have to give, and just and enjoy. I mean, life's life. It's amazing. It's such a ride. I mean,
yeah. It's true. It's true. So yeah, we're really excited about being able to bring this facet. I know in January we wanted to make sure that we could get as much people the experience of this is what Soundbath is, and there was a lot of people that had never experienced it before that had a really wonderful take on it, and their experience was. And there wasn't. I don't think there was anybody that walked away that said that they didn't enjoy it. So
I do have a quick question. So we're doing this on February 18th. And you said it's $22 a person, correct?
Yes.
And $33 at the door. I've had a few people kind of talk to me that have expressed an interest to come. And if somebody really wants to come and experience this, is there a way to provide a scholarship or anything like that so somebody could come?
Absolutely. Yeah. We want people to have the experience.
So do you want them to reach out to us here at A to Zen? Would you like them to message you on Facebook?
They could do either or, actually.
Because it is a charged event. However, it is an event that could probably bring a lot of therapy, and we want to definitely make it an accessible event.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking for some type of scholarship, is it okay if they reach out to you?
Sure. They can reach out to me on my email, which is mrsbrown@sacredstaroffering.com. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So even though we are charging admission, we do not want a perception of this as being anything that would create any type of barrier between yourself and an event like this. And so most of this is about introduction of these therapies and people being able to utilize these tools. And so if you perceive an admission as any type of barrier, don't hesitate to reach out, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else? Do you have any questions about anything, John?
No, just that I enjoyed the sound bath, when you had it here, and it was definitely an experience. And like, I know I was busy, helping you guys out and running the sound, but still,
You were a warrior. You weren't busy. You were a warrior.
I do my best to, just make sure, our clients are just happy, they have everything that they need and, whatever else they need. But, I felt like a little more closer in proximity than most people, because I had the headphones on. And so I was able to just really be deep with everything that was going on. So yes, thank you so much. It was definitely a good experience.
Awesome.
If you've never experienced anything like this, here's your chance. Come on out. It is more than I ever thought it would be. You and Richard do a fantastic job at what you do.
Thank you.
Very high appreciation for the art you do, and the way that you kind of walk through. And there's really not, and I'm assuming this will be the same, if you're expecting a lot of hoopla or anything, this is a real therapeutic, passive type event. And it's very neutral. It's very safe on all levels. There isn't a particular dogma portrayed as right or wrong in it. It's very instinctual and neutral. And so if you're coming up on any of those, don't let them stop you. I would really say, come and experience things like this. You may be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I usually do. I keep it very linear in regards to not having any particular dogma associated with it. So no matter who you are, your values, beliefs, that you can come and feel safe, and that there's not anything that you would bump up against.
Yeah, because some people would feel hindered by those types of things. And so it is very safe. It is very quite pleasantly benign and neutral in a lot of ways. I don't know another way to describe it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
February 18th, we are starting at what time?
6 o'clock. Come early so you can get situated, though. Yep. That would be great if you showed up around 5:30-ish.
A lot of the people ended up kind of laying out. We have a handful of couches here at Ada's Inn, and so if there's somebody that comes in and laying on the floor does not appeal to you, we have the ability to make you quite comfortable on a sofa somewhere. So don't let that stop you either. And
I tell people, if you have a yoga mat or some kind of mat, that's ideal. Maybe a small pillow and just like a fuzzy blanket or something. That way you can just lay down and
And that is also an at your discretion thing. A lot of people came to this event and chose to participate in a chair.
Yeah.
So if you're kind of shy and you're feeling like, I don't want to walk in, somebody's going to make me lay on it's not going to be that way at all.
Right. Yeah.
What's up, John? You look like you had a question about something.
You're good.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
February 18th, right here at Ada's Inn. Once again, if you need a scholarship or something, make sure and reach out. We appreciate everybody. Thanks.
She gives and she gives and she gives and she